Hello everyone, and welcome to the front nine of the OTB Open, presented by MVP Disc Sports, a part of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. I'm Erika Stinchcomb.
And I'm Raven Klein.
We are down Madison Walker. She's sick for the week, so down a goose, but up a raven.
Heyo.
We are watching Paige Pierce, defending champ of this event, Sarah Hokom, Ohn Scoggins, I never can decide, and Ella Hansen.
I'm sure you can ask her about it.
I should.
Yeah.
So this is a massive course this year. Went a huge redesign. We only had half the property last year, and now we get to use the entire property. So it's long, it's windy, it'll test everything you have. Let's get started. Hole 1 is a par 5, 842 feet. You are throwing basically to the left of this big bush right there, and then we are taking a right turn here and squeaking under the trees, and the basket's going to be on that right-hand side. So it really calls for a backhand, and then I think a forehand on the second shot. Then you're trying to get under these low branches and get yourself a putt for birdie.
There is a mandatory inside that bush, probably about, 30 to 40 feet?
Yeah.
So if you get a hold of it on your first drive, you got to pitch back.
Yeah.
The Emerald Coast Disc Golf Club and 5-time world champion, Paige Pierce.
Paige won this event by 1 stroke over Katrina Allen last year, shooting 19 down for the weekend.
Her earbud fell out on the drive.
Yeah, I hear that.
Getting a nice hold of it and really in a good spot for her second shot.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for.
Next up from Caldwell, Idaho, 2012 world champion, Sarah Hokom.
Sarah coming off a victory at Santa Cruz last year. Chase card victory, which we don't see a ton of. Very exciting.
That's weak.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Was that not implied?
Could have been a back-to-back situation.
You're right. So this is a vanish. You would think it's a tough forehand line, but Hokom's pretty good at those.
I'm always impressed watching the lines that she throws out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now on the tee box from Los Angeles, California, an Oak Grove disc golf course and reigning Masters world champion, Ohn Scoggins.
Yeah, there you go.
He says
Scoggins.
Scoggins. We don't know if he's right.
True.
Ohn
Just
is,
trying to help you out.
I know. She's one of my favorites to watch. I know I say it every time, but it's still true.
Doing a nice job of keeping it low and not letting the wind really affect her disc too much.
Yeah, it was a tailwind here. Not the worst wind to start on.
Definitely not.
Seattle, Washington, and the San Francisco Disc Golf Club, Ella Hansen.
Ella tied for second last week at the Masters Cup and has been playing well all year. She went from like a rookie to all of a sudden just
podium
competing.
after podium
Yeah.
after podium. Mm-hmm.
That's a huge crush.
Yeah, she throws that cloud breaker through a lot, and for good reason.
Yeah. I think that someone will probably get the eagle this weekend.
Catching that tree on the left there for Ohn. Along that left side, there is OB by those signs. So you're trying to not push too far.
Yeah, I think that's why it calls for a forehand, so you're fading away from that out of bounds. And that's a little high. So that is going to be kind of a rough third shot. She didn't fully get out of the gap. Paige choosing to go backhand here. Through that same gap, I'm sure, that Hokom was taking. Yep.
Not getting the full flip over on her drive, and she will be out of bounds on that throw.
That's the danger of the backhand, particularly in this tailwind that makes the disc stable out towards the OB with the backhand. God, just look at it. The wind.
Would you look at it?
It was 15 to 20, gusts of 25 all day.
That's a great forehand there by Ella.
Far.
And she's
Just probably pitch up for birdie. I mean,
definitely. I think she was like 120 feet out.
Yeah.
Not even. Maybe 100.
So Hokom is pinched here.
Getting a nice release on that, though. And putting herself in position to
great
approach
job.
the basket.
So those of you that watched this event last year, I think only one hole or 2 holes of the front 9 are going to look familiar, and everything else is brand new.
Ohn getting a great flex line there on her. So, oh, perfect. Just out, what, 20 feet outside? Circle 2?
Of circle 2, yeah.
Yeah.
100 feet, maybe? 90?
Which with Ohn, I'll probably run it.
You're probably right. She's probably going to make it. Paige with a crystal fierce. Throwing 4 with the out-of-bounds stroke. It was so dark in there.
Yeah, but a great approach just outside the bullseye for Paige. Sarah has this branch to contend with. I assume she'll just go around it on the left. Pushing it a little bit deep, but she'll still have a putt.
She said way deep.
Way deep.
She's fine. It's fine. Hello, with a nice touchy forehand just outside the bullseye.
And she will be putting for birdie on that.
Yeah, awesome.
She really dissected that hole well. Ohn with the layup.
Yep, Ohn will just take the par here. Par is great on any of these holes. This course plays very difficult. I don't think we're going to really see many people under par, if any.
Sarah missing the basket to the right on that first putt, but cashing the comeback for her bogey. I'm excited to watch this card because Ohn dissects the holes, and, you know, she talks about how she doesn't throw with the same power that Paige or Ella or, you know, some of these big arms do, and yet she still is consistently in our top finishes. And
Right.
It's great to watch.
Yeah, she knows what she can do. She doesn't make a ton of mistakes.
Yeah.
And boy, she can she putt.
I think the best way to say it is she plays her game
Yeah.
so well.
Yeah.
And that is a birdie for Ella Hansen on hole 1.
Pretty cool.
Hole 2 is a par 3, 339 feet. It's only one of like 6 par 3s on the course. It's a fairly straight shot. If you're going with the sidearm, there's a tree on the right side, right off the basket, or right off the tee pad, that can get in your way. But you're going to see either hyzers around or a straight gut shot. Ella releasing high on that. She was throwing a mid-range there.
Yeah, that's crazy. She throws those mids so far, and you do kind of need that height to get it far. That was her MD3, and it just got a little caught up. Paige also high.
Paige doing the same thing, yeah. But hers is going to push a lot further.
Oh, wow.
Little branch kick.
Okay. Into circle 2. Love that. This is an Emperor, not turned enough.
There
So she'll
was
be-
a bit of a tailwind on this
Yeah,
hole.
she'll be pin high left.
Sarah taking that line on the
Oh.
outside.
Go
I really
around the
like that.
tree.
Yeah.
That is her trace, and that was so cool.
Just outside the circle for Sarah.
What tree?
What tree? Ella throwing much wider than she wanted to on that shot, but still getting herself around the tree to the circle.
Yeah, she definitely chose to go, around the tree instead of splitting the gap. Ooh, great up from Ohn. So I feel like that's the risk. You're going to leave yourself a longer putt if you don't go right at it.
Exactly.
Paige with a look for birdie just outside circle 2.
Doing it short and right. But she'll be able to clean that up.
Good bid from Sarah.
I feel like the wind today was really dropping some of these putts. A lot of people being online and just getting metal.
Yeah. Ella, though, looking really clean there. Dead center. Good par save.
Oh.
We only had one birdie on this hole today. Alex Benson. Good get.
Yeah, it's a great birdie.
Looking like a star par for our feature card here.
When you have all these long holes, you see these par 3s and you kind of get excited.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I can get this one. Hole 3 is a par 5, 891 feet. You are just trying to throw really far before this golf green, and then you are trying to, there's 2 routes you can take to get out here, ideally right about here on your second shot, and then you want to sneak under these trees for, you know, your eagle look. Realistically, it probably takes 4 shots to get there, but I'm just going to assume that they can do anything and make this look easy.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Ella kind of looks like she's going roller.
She is going roller.
That's super cool.
Yeah, you just want to get out of this lane of trees and put yourself into the opening. A lot of players will actually there's a gap between the trees on the right.
There's actually 2 different gaps.
There's a closer gap.
Yeah.
And then one on the next set of trees where you can pick a hyzer out.
The closer one is like, I think the hyzer play, what Paige is doing. And then there's one farther that's more of like a flex line, I think.
It is, yeah. Paige getting a great hold of hers.
I think that's definitely like the
and with a big
play.
flare.
And also she gets all of the distance you need.
And I would say getting more in the center of this green to a little bit left actually sets up much easier for your second shot.
Yeah, the placement's kind of tough because no matter where you are, there's going to be a gap to hit on the second shot.
Yeah.
Paige taking the same route as Paige, but landing where mere mortals land, a little bit shorter.
Yeah, and this tournament, the 2-meter rule only applies to certain holes.
Yeah, like
and
6 holes, I think.
Yeah, and it doesn't apply on this hole. So when you're approaching the basket, someone might even consider doing a hyzer in.
Yeah. I kept forgetting to look at which ones were 2-metered. I've never experienced that before, like selective 2
where it's only
meters.
some, yeah.
It's a great shot from Hokom with her trace, taking the tunnel shot. Leonard Muse, the course designer, is really good at giving you multiple options, not only off the tee, but often down the fairway as well.
I think that's one of my favorite things about,
That's too low.
I'm just throwing that low, worm burning.
She'll still be able to par.
But no, about this course, that there's not a lot of artificial OB, so you get to see players pulling some shots out that they haven't been able to on some of these other courses to still get up and down, even though everyone does it differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes it a fun watch. So this is kind of the most open gap that she was going for. She does fall a little bit short, but honestly, that's a fine position. So that's definitely the biggest gap. The other gap is kind of like low hyzer line for a right-hand backhand player on the right side of that like oak tree over there. And that's if you end up right off the tee. Most of us are gonna take this route right here.
Looks like Ella was just trying to flip up her disc. I think that was an essence, get through the gap, but turned it a little bit too soon and caught the branches.
Roller?
That's what it looked. Yep, that's what she's doing. Setting that down a little early, right on the edge of the hill.
Yeah, it burns over a little early, but again, she's still
gets
in a
her in a
good
great
enough spot.
position.
Yeah, she can still birdie from there. It's probably, like 350 to the pin still?
I would say, yeah. And she's going to be in that position where she can either do a big hyzer over the trees in the way or just line drive it at the basket.
Yeah. So here's the low line I was talking about. Getting it out there, getting a huge skip, and she'll definitely have a chance to get a par here.
Ella going to approach just straight at the basket.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, I think, on the screen exactly where it is. Let's see if Ella can put it close and show us.
Oh, just right into the ground.
Yeah, way too low. Whoops.
Yep. Not what she wanted.
She's still pretty close for par. Oh, who was that? On the bag.
Oh man, I don't know.
She looks familiar.
I wonder if it's my doppelganger.
I like this.
That's great, yeah.
Come on. Get a skip.
So still outside circle 2, but it was a great line.
Paige's third shot. She's got the best chance at birdie here.
Oh, the wind just elevator, like action on
up
the...
and down and up and down. Oh, go in.
Oh my gosh. And you just really, you can't draw it up better.
No, that was awesome.
Putting
definitely
herself in
think-
position to birdie.
That's like the best way to get there since the pin is kind of blocked and on a hillside. I really like the low kind of skip hyzer to it.
Yeah. Ella, throwing something stable here and just throwing too straight at the basket. She wanted to swing that wider so that her skip put her close. But unfortunately, she'll have a look outside the circle.
Owen's fourth shot.
There was a bit of a right to left wind as they were approaching this basket.
Oh, that was really well done. Hard to get close when you fade before that last tree, but she's inside the circle.
Sarah just gonna approach up to the basket here, give herself an easy putt.
Yeah, good touch. Good body language too.
Yeah.
Ella from 43 feet.
That's a smart play. She was looking pretty much directly into a headwind, and she was like, this could turn bad in an instant.
There's a great putt. She likes it. We all like it.
Always some good chatter between Paige and Ohn.
Great birdie from Paige.
Sarah grabbing her par. And Ella tapping in her bogey. Definitely one she wanted to get.
She's still an even par though.
You know how disc golf goes.
Got a lot of people at even par here, but it's so early.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you can just keep this, you keep that even at the end, you're going to be in these top numbers.
Yeah, right.
But it is great to see. I mean, you start off with, 2 par 5s in the first 3 holes.
Right.
Hole 4 is a par 4, 599 feet. Off the tee, you're either trying to go right up the gut or landing in this zone right here. This allows you to either shoot straight at the basket or hyzer around into that dead grass and get yourself a skip toward the basket. Definitely a hole that you might see some people throwing rollers on.
I think this is the most must get par 4. I think it's the only one under 600 feet by a foot.
Yeah, I think so.
So everyone definitely wanting to get this one.
Paige turning hers over and ending up on the right side. It's not going to be OB, but it's going to be a tougher approach.
Yeah, she might have kind of a hyzer look at it. We'll see. When I came through here, it was like a tail left to right wind. I'm not sure if that's what they're dealing with. It definitely changed directions a lot out here.
Yeah, I was going to say
looks like a headwind.
an accidental roller here from Ohn.
Yeah.
They definitely had more of a headwind on this hole. You saw everyone trying to throw something a little more stable, and it was all just flipping over.
Just listen. So much white noise.
Sarah pretty much getting her line, but very low, and then catching that last tree. Or first tree, I guess.
Yeah. Both.
Yes.
See if Ella can put one out here. And yep, same problem from Ella, just 2 turned over. The distance isn't that bad though. I mean, they're maybe just a little under 400 from the pin?
Yeah, to the pin, they're probably looking anywhere between 350 to 380.
Yeah.
Paige might be around 400 because hers burned out.
She's going flex forehand.
That's a great
Has all
shot.
the speed on it. Yeah, it was good from there.
Just outside circle 2 for Paige. This is the gap I was referring to where you can just take that simple hyzer line back to the basket.
That's what everyone wants for sure.
Yeah. Especially when you're dealing with that much wind.
Mm-hmm.
Simplify, simplify, simplify. Let the disc work for you.
I feel like when I'm out there, it's like multiply, subtract, long division. Where am I? Oh, wow. Look at the wind kind of lift that one up. It's good power on it, and she's kind of hanging out with everyone else just outside circle 2. Dang, Ella pinned up on this tree.
You don't
Just as
see
a
Ella
patent.
do a lot of patent pendings.
No.
I feel like she just doesn't end up next to trees.
What a weird statistic.
She ended up throwing a mid-range there. A little bit short, but, you know, straight and not into a tree.
Yep, there is that.
Hard to be upset.
She's got 150-foot chipper.
Little skip, but that'll be a fine putt for Ella.
Ring it up, Ohn. A little too high and floaty, but checks up just outside the bullseye for Ohn. Sarah with a long look for birdie.
Giving it a lot of oomph, but just shy.
Yeah, but I like Hokom's style because they tend to stay close if she misses.
Yeah, she can. I like that she runs everything in that edge of circle 2, and they're always within like 5 feet. Which, well, you can't really ask for more than that. I'm like, if I can give it a run, but I know I got to tap in.
Deal.
Ella making good on her par. That's a great putt.
Ella's looking really good at that tester range. She looks very confident.
Yes. Ohn taking no time there to grab her par. Super fluid.
I think we'll see a lot more birdies. The wind is supposed to chill out a little bit in the next couple days. Yeah. Star par again.
That's the future of disc golf right there. I mean, that kid is going to be a force to reckon with now, next year, and 10 years. Just look forward to many more battles with him.
To win this event is a great stepping stone in my career, and hopefully I can win a couple more soon.
Alrighty, ready for another par 5? Because I am. You are throwing through these trees, ideally landing just on the other side of them, and then throwing again as hard as you can. There's a couple different routes you can take. This is definitely the biggest gap. Some people might throw to the right side, kind of lower under the trees, and then you're going up to this pin, which is perched on a hillside. There is out of bounds behind it as well, though that's pretty difficult to find. Definitely birdieable, but not easy.
Paige having a little early release here. She was trying to hit that right side, like more of a hyzer line, and get herself past the trees.
Yeah, this is an interesting hole because I feel like it baits you into taking the hyzer, but then that doesn't set you up for your second shot as well. You really want to push these trees like Ohn is doing to then have the secondary gap come into play easier.
I think what I do like about this hole is that I've seen people far left, in the middle, and on the right side all get the same score.
Totally. Again, you have choices. Like, do you want to make it harder off the tee or on the second shot?
Exactly.
You know?
Sarah getting herself to the left.
Yep.
I like that approach for her.
Yeah, I went right side, and I kind of rethought. I think pushing the trees on the first shot
Oh, man.
is probably the...
Full power into the tree.
Yeah, that was an early tree hit. Watch her still birdie it. Roller. I'm just kidding. So this is that right side gap. She's going really high trying to work back left to the more open part of the fairway.
And again, even though we're facing a different direction, bit of a headwind, so her disc did carry forward a little bit more than, maybe she was expecting, but it was still able to fade out.
This was a ripping headwind when I went through, which was only about 40 minutes earlier than these ladies.
Sarah having to go low under that branch, but she gets herself out into the clearing.
Yeah, that was about as well done as she could have done it from there.
Yeah, she's probably 300 out or so.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more. Paige going into these trees a little bit too much. She got caught up, but she will still have a chance to birdie. Good enough distance there. This is a destroyer sidearm from Ohn.
Telling that disc to get over, but good stability, and it works for her. So it's hard to actually see the basket.
Yeah, it's hard to see
but it's
anything.
up on that little mound.
I am getting confused on the flyovers because it's just so wide open. Most golf courses have such defined artificial OB and flags and stuff, and this is you could go anywhere you want.
Just have at it. Frolic, if you will.
Ella sidearm for her third shot.
The sidearm just looking really smooth from Ella.
Powerful.
That was great. I mean, she just chunked off a lot there.
Yeah, especially with the short drive. She's in position for a very easy par. Paige dealing with some low branches here. And she needs to get a big skip to get a putt.
She does get the skip, but it brings her kind of across the basket versus up that hill.
Yeah, it's a dangerous putt, too, with the hillside.
And this is where you said the OB green is right behind the basket.
Mm-hmm. Probably, 40 or 50 feet behind it? I don't know. I ignore it. Maybe it's closer.
I don't think it's quite that far.
Okay.
Actually,
in my head, it doesn't
I feel like it's
come into
almost like
play.
at the edge of the circle.
We'll never know. Hokom throwing up and over that last tree.
And
finds
finding
it.
the
Dang
OB.
it. Watch it be super close. Oh my god, it's 20 feet. Sorry, everyone.
you
In
jinxed
my
her.
mind, it doesn't exist, right? Maybe that's a good thing.
Ella trying to just get the putter to kind of float, but gives it too much ante on the release, and the wind just
Took it.
sailed it out. Not out of bounds, but she's outside the circle, and when you're going for a layup and you land outside the circle, you're not thrilled.
No. Paige just laying up for an easy par.
It's happened a lot with the putters where people were going for that slightly floatier approach to be close, and it just never came back.
I feel like that 100-foot distance, that was a good effort from Ella.
Yeah.
That 100-foot distance in high winds is really tough because, you need to spin it, but then, it's so easy to fluff it or overthrow it. Metering your approach is so difficult.
Sarah making her putt from that OB throw and taking a bogey on this hole.
Yeah, way to limit the damage.
And cashing in her par and staring it down.
Yeah, Ohn playing great. Just a ton of pars.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Another par for Paige and a bogey that Ella definitely was not planning on.
Does anyone plan for bogeys?
No. This is hole 6, par 3, 364 feet. You have the water OB on the right. There's an OB green on the left that's you probably hit around, 320 out from the tee. Some people are going to take a riskier path over the water, but in this wind, I doubt a lot of them.
You almost have to take that riskier line, though, because if you throw too straight or too hazard, there's an OB green on the left.
Yeah, the green is dangerous. I expected this hole to play fairly difficult.
Yeah.
Especially with the wind.
For those of you paying attention, this is the first familiar hole from last year, though it was only, I think, a 260-ish foot par 3, so much more attackable and a little bit more over the water. Mm-hmm. So I don't love this change just because that water where it bubbles in is kind of right in the landing zone.
Yeah. I like the straight at it approach, because if you can get that push to 330 and you hyzer out, you've got a little bit more leeway away from the green. Ella throwing a mid-range.
Always. MD3 again.
And just down the gut.
Oh, I love this. Look at it flip. It's so pretty. It's a little flirty with that water.
Off the tee, you couldn't tell how close that was to the water.
Yeah, I know. I feel like off the tee, you think, oh, that was a perfect shot, and then you're just a little out of bounds.
Ohn Heisering that a little early. So she's still going to be edge of the circle.
Hokom trying to go out and around that leaning tree. Don't know if she got the skip she wanted.
No, she pushes it a little too far and ends up by this big, fat trunk.
Ooh. Great little upshot from Paige there with the Crystal Fierce. She's parked. Ella with a bit of a look. Nope, it's just a layup for par. Which is smart. I mean, it's elevated and super windy.
Ohn trying to use every inch of her legs, but catches that tree.
It is a fat trunk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Ah,
man.
Dang, Sarah just 1 inch too high for her par. Ohn with a little work left to do on the bogey save.
Not too bad, though.
Yeah, these trees really get in the way of, I feel like, most putts.
Ella making good on her par. And Sarah grabbing the bogey here on hole 6.
Yep, Paige with a par. Only one on our feature card to stay under par the whole round. Loving it.
Not really surprisingly, there were no birdies on that hole today.
Yeah. Hole 7 is a par 4, 662. You are, I don't remember what's even happening.
It's where I always see the foxes.
Oh, yeah. This is, I think, one of the hardest par 4s out here. You're throwing like a low line. You can go straight and hyzer, whatever, get past the first round of trees. And then as you approach this green, you saw there's a bunker to the left and an OB green to the right that make approaching pretty treacherous. That path we saw is casual. It's not out of bounds or anything. So this is another one, classic Leonard Muse hole, where you can take this big gap over here. You can push the trees to the right. There's a bunch of ways to get to the pin. I like this play because I think it opens up the second shot.
I agree. No, I think this hole, I wouldn't say is as difficult off the tee. It's a fairly large gap. But as you get into, I'm going to pause my thought and watch this roller. Oh my gosh. So she hits the trunk of the tree,
man,
jumps like 30 feet in the air.
She's still in a great spot.
And still gets into the opening.
That had so much life left in it to live.
Yeah.
Tragic.
But as you get up to the green, you have a sand hazard, you have an OB green, and the basket is on a hill.
Yeah.
So as long as you, you know what? I think it is. I think that's it.
So Ohn taking the more kind of straight play off the tee, and as long as you get past that first line of trees, you're set up pretty well for a second shot. If you get caught early or go too right, you can kind of leave yourself with almost nothing.
Sarah having a good line, but releasing it a little bit low, so she probably lost around 30 feet on that.
All right, if anyone can get a birdie look. I mean, how far do you think she is? 420?
Not close. Yeah. And she did skip off the sand. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's smash.
Ideally where I think you should land.
Yeah.
If you're not on the hill, because then when you're approaching up to the basket,
right, it's safe.
You don't have anything directly behind.
Man, I didn't even think of that. Like, a lot of us are kind of just throwing around the cart path, you know what I mean? And then you have to deal with the out of bounds.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think the approach is almost to hyzer left of everything and then just go straight at the basket.
I like it. Ella's really far up here, even with the roller that lost some steam.
And she clips the tree, but I don't think this is a bad play.
No, honestly, that's where a lot of people
for players who don't have the arm to get all the way out here,
where they land without hitting trees.
I say you aim for right in front of the path. And then you just have like a, 100-foot approach to the hill.
So Ohn having the shorter approach because she took the right side route off the tee. And again, that is casual, so that is just fine. I doubt there were any birdies on this hole unless Paige rings that huge one up.
Simple, or fairly simple approach there for Ella. Just throwing the putter, getting herself on the hill in the circle.
And that looked pretty good from Hokom.
Yeah, just nestling itself into the hill. I think it pushed a little bit further, but...
I think she was trying to ring that up. But
I mean, why not?
Par. All right, this is edge of circle 2 for Paige for a birdie. Nope.
Not this time.
But hey, I mean, honestly, par on this one. This one in particular, I bet this is the least scoreable par 4 out here. You'll take it.
Oh. Another close one there for Sarah,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
She's dead center but high on the last two.
Mm-hmm.
Ella from 15. Cash.
Looking good on it. Yeah, hole 7, it did play as the 6th most difficult on the day, and you're correct. There were no birdies.
Wah, wah.
That's the best I can do.
I liked it.
Yeah, I'm a soundboard. It's actually my day job. Ohn grabbing her par, and Paige as well. Hole 8. This is a par 4, 609 feet. All along the right side, you couldn't quite see it on the drone, is like long reeds and things like that are OB. So you do need to cross into that open green area, shooting over the water, hopefully on your second shot. It can be tough, especially with the wind. You want to shoot into that gap, but some people leave themselves a little too short, and they have to lay up just short of the water before going over.
So that bush there, you really need to decide right or left. Paige looked like she was drawing up the hyzer and challenged the bush a little, but she gets through and ends up in a great spot.
Yeah, you are aiming more for that hyzer route.
Power players
if
are.
you want to be safe.
Yeah. If you take the more flex shot to the left, it's definitely less out of bounds to initially cross. Again, they're throwing out of bounds this entire way.
Yeah, and she tried to push that distance and does not make it back inbounds.
So, I mean, she has to rethrow maybe, 50 feet in front of the tee pad?
Yeah. So even though she threw it like 400,
right,
she only moves up about 50 because she never came back.
That was a crush, too.
I know.
So I like this play from Ohn, going flex sidearm. There is OB on that left side she needs to be careful about, but she's just trying to play safe and not get too crazy.
For the most part, without this wind, I don't see anyone contending with the OB that far left.
Yeah.
But today, you never know.
Anything's in play. You can see the wind taking both Hokom and Ohn's discs, turning them over towards the OB. So at least they're safe, but I mean, realistically, they're going to have to pitch up, I think.
So here's Ella just barely in front of the tee pad and taking her now third shot.
Yeah, super punishing not to cross over on the drive.
But making pretty easy work of that, throwing her mid-range up there, and she'll be in a good position to go over the water.
That looks like her MD3 again. Looks like she has a lot of trust in that disc.
Mm-hmm. Definitely one of her favorites.
So, I mean, we can't even really see the water in this shot. So, again...
My guess is that she's going to lay up.
Yeah, I think her and Ohn. It would be
That would
Herculean
be a pump.
to cross. And well done there from Hokom. She's pretty close. It can be scary laying up, downhill with water right there.
Definitely.
A lot of times you can short it because you want to make sure you don't go out of bounds.
Yep, I'm throwing that a little low, but again, it's safe, and she'll be looking right at the basket. Just pretend the water's not there.
Yeah.
Paige was able to get herself far enough up the fairway that she's definitely going for this.
Oh, 100%.
Splitting the trees.
Oh,
come on.
do it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And
Looks
just inside?
Yeah,
The circle.
circle's edge, we'll call it. Ambiguous. That was an excellent shot from Paige.
It was. And the wind tried to mess with it, too. Ella throwing a putter.
Yeah, it's a P2.
Just ring it up.
Wow, really good recovery.
Yeah.
I mean, you can easily turn this hole into, an 8 or a 10 if you keep, stacking on the OB strokes. I'm going a little higher and more of a hyzer. She'll have a long putt.
Pretty sure she went short and is in the water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I looked down at my phone. I'm so sorry. That sucks, too, because she'll have to
she'll
throw
have
from short.
the long putt.
Did she cross?
It looks like she hit.
Yeah,
but
but
we'll see how they
line
place
is
her.
off the water.
Yeah.
Great touch shot from Sarah there. She's parked for her
So, yeah,
par.
she did cross.
Paige for a look at birdie.
Oh.
No, it sounded so good.
Just off from center.
That
Just
one
getting
guy
that
was like,
push on the
yeah.
left side. Ella doing a great job, I
Honestly,
think, to
great
recover her.
bogey.
Yeah, to recover her bogey.
Yeah.
Ohn taking the bogey. She was safe.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
I also had looked down at my phone at the
Yeah,
exact same time.
yeah.
And
Let's
in my
just move
head,
on, everyone.
we'll just forget that it happened. Sorry, everybody.
All right, rounding it out, again, a familiar hole. This one's exactly the same as last year. OB water all the way on the left side, and then a little strip of fairway that's safe, and then out of bounds that wraps within, 10 feet behind the basket.
Yeah.
I think the play is to throw kind of a flex shot if you're throwing backhand to the right. That hyzer's in at the end. Power sidearm is also a play. They're a little scary with all the water carry. That looks like a passion. She's pinned high.
Yeah,
Circle two.
that's a great shot. This is one of those holes where even when you have a good shot, you might lay up.
Yep.
And by might, I mean there's a high probability.
Yeah. I mean, you're even a 25-footer, you're like, oh boy, should I run this?
Yeah.
All right, so here's the forehand carrying a lot more of the water, but also fading away from it. And circle 2, I think.
I believe so.
Kind of
Yeah,
lost
hard
it
to.
in the
It's hard in the
shadows.
shadows.
Yeah. It was a good shot. MD3 again from Ella. Wow.
Oh my gosh! Just keep pushing.
Wow. But
Get it.
there's the layup.
There's that
or run it
distance.
kind of a.
It's close enough that you're like, oh, I did my job. I want it, but you also see nothing but water
Yeah.
behind the basket.
Ohn throwing a more flex line. This is the line I described in the drone flyover. It does wind up just a little short. I mean, she's in circle 2, but that's layup land.
Layup land.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean,
Almost looking like a
like-
bit of a bid.
Yeah.
A bit of a bid.
even that one, you're kind of like, for a
Like
second.
maybe.
Yeah.
Paige is laying up. I feel like it's the fastest you see players on the green because everyone already knows their
Yeah.
decision.
Yep. I mean, even Sarah, who softly runs almost everything. Ella, I feel
Ella
like
taking
she's
a
gotta-
little bit more time
she's
here.
gotta do it, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a safe bid.
It's
you
the
know,
classic mistake, too. Like, your body doesn't let you quite fully throw it.
One you can even see, it's like your way of kind of giving it a bid. And you're like, but it's so soft compared to her other putts. And
Right.
she's like, if it goes in, great. If it doesn't, no harm, no foul.
Bunch of good pars here from the card, though.
Yeah. As long as you stay inbounds on your drive, everyone's getting a par, is how I like to see this hole.
Sounds nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so Paige really with an astounding front nine. I know she was only one down with only one birdie, but
But she kept it clean, and having no bogeys on this kind of course it's really nice to see. I mean, Ohn wasn't able to pick up any birdies, but even only having 2 bogeys,
Not bad.
Not bad at all. Ella started off hot, and she had a couple unfortunate strokes there, but we still have a lot of golf.
All right, Natalie Ryan also under par. And then everyone else kind of hanging around even, 1 or 2 over. I think the back 9 does play a little harder.
I would say some of the lines are definitely tougher, but the distances are a lot shorter.
That's true.
The front 9 is like 1,200 feet further.
You're right. Big thank you to our FPO VIP members. I know we said we were going to do a live stream for you, but again, Madison is sick. We will make it up to you next time. I am going to throw a disc and a pin in for just a random drawing as a thank you for your support. It's $10 a month at the base level to support GK Pro and FPO coverage and us, so check that out.
Yeah, we really appreciate you joining us here for the front 9, and we're really excited to see what everyone does on the back. I'm Raven Klein.
And I'm Erika Stinchcomb.